Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I have a StarCraft 2 game for you today, played by Mehdi Fawaz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he is Smartnt, the blue Zerg player in the bottom left. This is my first time watching this replay, so I have no idea what's about to happen. Oh my goodness, and right away we have the top right Terran player, Demiro, sending out two SCVs in the map. I imagine it's going to be a proxy. I don't understand. There's nothing else it could be. So far we have Smartnt taking his gas immediately, followed by a Zergling pool, and that is a very good blind defense to the proxy, as he's not taking fast hatchery, putting 3 workers on gas immediately. So that is always nice to have that very good blind defense against this, what looks to be proxy 2 barracks. Yeah. We'll see the Overlord is not going to scout this. He's going straight across the map. So Smartnt does not have any idea yet that he is being proxy with double barracks. Spawning pool over halfway done. We'll see what he decides to do. I imagine he's going to make some Zerglings and a Queen. Meanwhile, demiro is making a 3rd barracks at home while continuing to create SCVs out of that command center. 6 lings on the way for Smartnt. Also Zergling speed and a Queen coming out. These 2 proxy barracks are just about finishing. Meanwhile, demiro finishes the wall at home with his 2nd supply depot and starts pumping out Marines at these 2 proxy barracks. Smartnt sending out his first initial 6 Zerglings on the map. We'll see if they're going to see this. No, they do not see the proxy barracks. Okay, well, demiro not rallying his Marines anywhere, just leaving them at the barracks for now. He is also continuing to make he is also creating Marines at home to defend this early aggression from Smartnt. Oh, just now Smartnt is figuring out that it is double proxy racks as he throws down his hatchery at his natural. We'll see if that gets canceled or not. Demiro is also throwing down 2 bunkers. It looks like this is going to be a cancel, as I don't think that Smartnt has enough to deal with this. He is throwing down a spine crawler, 2 spine crawlers up top. Zergling speed just now finishing. Demiro cancels one of the barracks. Oh, good cancel on that hatchery. And he builds an, sorry, not barracks, bunker. He builds the bunker farther forward. Meanwhile, at the base of demiro, the Marine gets greedy and decides to go after that Overlord. Gets picked off by the 6 Zerglings that are still there. These Zerglings are going to start working away at the buildings here at demiro's main base at home. He's going to start losing these Zerglings to the Marine if he doesn't bring them back. Meanwhile, demiro just loading up these bunkers, continuing to contain on the Zerg player. He did float his barracks. He is going to go back home with those barracks and just keep these 2 bunkers here, keep these 2 SCVs here to repair. Roach Warren going down for Smartnt. He is behind on the worker count by 4 workers, which is not where you want to be early game at Zerg, of course. demiro throwing down a factory back at home. 2 spine crawlers. He needs to put creep tumors out and move these spine crawlers forward so that they can potentially start hitting the bunkers. I don't know if the spine crawler will reach from there. You can see now he is throwing down this creep tumor. He does have a roach warren, so we'll see. Yep, we have no roaches in production quite yet, as it doesn't look like he has decided to make roaches yet. Barracks almost done flying home, and we're going to see a tech lab add-on to the factory. So it looks like there's going to be some tanks or some cyclones or some potential Thors later on, or maybe just a transition here. Maybe he's going to transition. Who knows what demiro will decide to do. Smartnt is going to unburrow one of these spine crawlers and then decides to reburrow it. He is going to move one of the spine crawlers forwards. I don't think that's going to be in range of the bunkers, however. Looks like he just wants to get a good position on this ramp, as he is going to continue to spread the creep further and decides to tech up to lair. Demiro adding 2 reactors on both the reactor and a tech labs, 2 tech labs back at home on the US barracks, and decides to pump out a siege tank, also throwing down a starport and a second command center. 23 workers to 17 right now in favor of the red Terran player. Baneling Nest coming down from Smartnt, so I'm not exactly sure what his plan is right now, because it looks like he is somewhat behind. Viking coming out of the starport for demiro, looking to try to get some map control with that, maybe clear a couple of overlords. Hitting his injects, okay. I'm curious as to, okay, he finally has 2 roaches. He's floating 1,600 minerals. Seems not good for our Zerg player. Wonder if he'll manage to spend those minerals at all. Meanwhile, the second command center being finished up here for demiro. This Viking flying around trying to look for overlords. You'll see that its flight path is going to pick off this overlord. Oh no, he changed it. He rallied away at the last minute, so it looks like this overlord will stay here for now. Get some scouting information. Meanwhile, Smartnt still has not broken this contain. I'm curious as to, okay, he's making a macro hatch back in his main base. Still has not broken this contain of just 2 bunkers and marines. If he would just position the spine crawler right here and potentially could hit that bunker, I'm not sure. But we'll see now the Ravagers will start working away on the bunkers out of range of the marines, so he will break this contain eventually. But demiro's just macroing up back at home, going up to 26 workers to 19. So it looks like he will start taking the economic lead, especially with mules, just not where you want to be as a Zerg player. Does throw down double Evo chamber, so maybe he'll start some upgrades. Starting to build 3 more Ravagers. Let's be careful. Oh, he did not lose that Ravager. That's nice. Has 10 HP left. He will take, finally, Smartnt will take his natural expansion as he breaks that contain at 7 minutes. Not where you want to be. I feel like this is a very, very bad position for the Zerg player. As demiro, I'm sorry, I missed that. He has a 3rd command center that finished up. We'll see what he decides to do with that, where he decides to fly it. He's making SCVs out of it right now, not lifting off just yet. And finally, he just notices this overlord and picks it off, dwindling Smartnt's supply. Very, very low supply gain so far. As it is just 57 to 49 at 8 minutes in the game, just a very, very low supply game. Sorry. Mule Hammer coming down at the natural for demiro. Meanwhile, Smartnt just starts his +1 melee and baning speed upgrade, and you can see the production tab stim just finished up for our red Terran player demiro. Yamato cannon starting to research. I didn't even realize there's a fusion core. Concussive shells. I think I saw a combat shield too being upgraded. The 3rd, where is it still? Yeah, it hasn't. It's been upgraded into an orbital that hasn't flown away. See, demiro's just making some defensive missile turrets just in case. Smartnt decides to do something cheeky like go Mutalisks. He doesn't really. It looks like demiro doesn't really know what's going on. There's no scans that have been going down. He's just been dropping the Mule Hammer. He's just as defensive, playing very, very passive and defensive. Missile turrets and then there are lines as well. Yamato cannon about halfway done researching. +1 weapon upgrades for the starport units. I imagine he'll start a battle cruiser once this tech lab is finished on the starport. Not sure if he's going to try to start another battle cruiser out of this other starport. His 3rd is landing. It looks like Smartnt is moving across the map. He has a handful of banelings here, probably about 20 banelings. 16 banelings, 5 ravagers, 21 zerglings. See if he can get some damage done with this push that it looks like he wants to do. The sensor tower does make the units be visible on the map, mini-map, and in the fog of war to demiro, so he knows that there's pushes here. He scans the army to see what Smartnt has. There's only one siege tank on the low ground. It looks like the Biles are not going to hit the siege tank because Smartnt does not have vision. He does get a couple of cancels on the wall in the third and runs some circlings and maybe he gets some drone kills, or some SCV kills, sorry. The tank doing some friendly fire there, taking out some of the SCVs, also taking out the Zerglings at the same time. These two Zerglings working away on this last supply depot here. They are going to finish it off. Still 46 workers to 29. Still very large economic lead for a red Terran player, demiro, as this game develops into later stages. We have +1 carapace, +2 melee, roach speed on the way for our Zerg player. The battlecruiser finishing up for demiro is going to teleport across the map to the natural of Smartnt, so we'll see how Smartnt decides to deal with this. Immediately going to Yamato over the Queen. That's a good play for demiro. This doesn't really look like Smartnt really has much to deal with this battlecruiser, because it's just going to start wreaking havoc. She should start finding drone kills. Yeah, there we go. demiro going to start trying to work away at these drones, just dwindling the work count even farther. It looks like Smartnt is just going to go for a Hail Mary play across the map because he really can't deal with this battlecruiser. We'll see how it works out for him. Demiro's tanks doing some friendly fire, however they are going to eventually pick up those Zerglings. They are positioned quite nicely. Looks like these Banelings are going to take quite a couple of hits from this. They are going to work away at that supply depot wall. But it looks like Smartnt is just losing most of the army, and again, those Biles not hitting the tank. Meanwhile, back at the base of Smartnt, hatchery about to go down. 9 kills on that battlecruiser. Not an amazing amount of kills on the battlecruiser for how much time it has spent being in the base. I mean, it's still alive, so I mean, 93 supply to 58. So I don't really think that this other player has any way of coming back into this game, but you know, I could be wrong. Who knows? +1, +2 melee attack and +1 carapace finishing up for the Zerg player. +1 vehicle armor finishing up. He's going to Yamato one of the Queens. It is being repaired by mules, by a single mule right now. That battlecruiser over half HP is going to take out a hatchery, as well as it has 11 kills. That needs to fly out of the Biles. Okay, the Biles take out the mule. One Bile connects with the battlecruiser. The battlecruiser is wreaking havoc. Can't really combat these Queens with Yamato on cooldown, so it's just going to fly away after getting 12 kills and a hatchery. This other hatchery extremely low at the natural, 143 HP. You can see that the upgrades looks like are in a little. They're pretty even, I guess. So one vehicle, one vehicle of both land and air vehicles and armor for both, and 2-1 for the Zerg player. So they're kind of even. However, bio upgrades with finishing as well. Actually, that might be the bio upgrade right there. I think that's +1 bio armor. I think I'm just bad at Terran and I don't know the symbols. Still a huge supply lead for demiro. However, he is floating an insane amount of minerals right now. He's spending some of his resources now. 52 workers to 29. He's just had a massive economic lead this whole game. However, that's an insane amount of Queens for Smartnt. Oh, it looks like there was a pause that happened in the middle of the game. He's just going to run over and transfuse that low hatchery a large number of times. With those massive amount of Queens that he has, not fully saturated at the natural. Hurts him. Just 28 workers to 61. It looks like Terran's just completely running away with this game. Again, I feel like it's just been in the lead this whole time. It's very difficult for the Zerg player. I don't see a way out for him. However, I'm going to continue to cast until the game is over. We'll see when the Terran player finally decides to go across the map. may take a while, who knows. 4th CC, 5th CC being produced here. Massive amounts of upgrades in the work. Just 2-2 for everything. Cloak for Banshees, just every upgrade you can imagine. Spire, a little over halfway done for the Zerg player, and +2 Carapace coming down for the Zerg player. Still, just you can see down here the army supply and the worker count just almost double of each for the Terran player, demiro. I mean, I will say that Smartnt's creep spread's pretty decent. demiro hasn't really done anything to counteract that, so maybe eventually it'll make its way across the map. That's one thing he has going for him. Huge gas bank for Smartnt, and a pretty huge mineral bank. And decent gas bank for demiro as well. So really, Smartnt's just struggling with minerals right now. Finally going up from 29 drones to 50. Finally hitting that D button a little bit and droning up. Still needs to make quite a bit more workers, though. He's still at a huge worker disadvantage of 12 and a big army deficit of almost 30. Let's see if demiro decides. Demiro took a 4th, dropping the mule hammer at his 4th to he's going to just start going crazy higher, as if he doesn't have enough minerals already. He needs more. Not really producing any units right now, other than a battle cruiser, getting still just every upgrade you could ever want. I don't even know what these symbols are because I don't play Terran and I suck at the game. Getting a planetary at at his 4th. It's already just finished. Producing 2 Thors, another 3 command centers, and it looks like Smartnt's building some corruptors. Okay, so I mean that does combat the battle cruisers, the 4 battle cruisers that are out right now, and the Vikings. 5 battle cruisers. However, there's still 2 Thors. Those will do damage to corruptors, and he needs to get the corruptor count much higher if he's going to want to deal with these battle cruisers. Just huge mineral bank for demiro. Still, just never dwindling. Taking a 5th base with this and upgrading it to a planetary fortress. Lots of sensor towers, so if Smartnt decides to ever try to move out, he will be spotted by these sensor towers. Nothing in production right now for Smartnt, just actually nothing in production. I've never seen that before. Just 4 overseers, a hatchery, a couple creep tumors. Meanwhile, crazy upgrades going on for the Terran player, because it feels like he just has all the breathing room. He just says, I'm going to get every tech in the game, and then I'm going to walk across the map with every tech, and while I have this huge supply lead. Crazy amount of energy on these mass 10 queens from Smartnt, just all together hugging each other, and just full energy on all of them. We'll see if that can do any good for him. A 2nd planetary right next to his 4th, so he has 2 planetaries. Seems like demiro's just really developing his bases, and 61 workers to 45 still. Just Smartnt just not droning correctly, just never going to a high drone count. Just hasn't maxed out in 18 minutes. And this is, I believe this is platinum, maybe around 3K. I'm not exactly sure. MMR on American server, and that's pretty low. It's probably gold on command servers. Yamato does take a couple of these corruptors out, and he leaves Smartnt leaves a couple of these corruptors behind to get picked off too. So it's just finally Smartnt is just made about 20 drones, it looks like. So he's finally at 66 workers, which is a good amount. Oversaturation on unnatural, however, though, he needs to move those workers around so he can. Not mining gas from one of his bases here. Needs to move some of those workers over. Just massive army from the Terran player, though. These battle cruisers and these liberators and a couple of Thors, Reagan in the mix. Just have every unit. Just has every unit Just a good. If you see the losses tab here, look at the losses for Smartnt and in comparison to demiro, just massive difference. Almost. I wonder where that battlecruiser warped to. Scanning to make sure there's no hidden bases. Battlecruiser warped up top to the empty base up here by Smartnt. Smartnt not reacting to it. Has 10 corruptors in position, but he's just not reacting to it. He's just letting demiro take out that base. I'm not really sure what either player is up to. Okay, finally deciding to react to that battlecruiser after that the hatchery is already down for the count. Does pick off that battlecruiser, but not after not before losing that hatchery, which is just I feel like a huge mistake. But just the reaction time was just not there. Still massive amount of energy on the queens, and it looks like demiro is finally just starting to decide to push in to the creep of Smartnt with his whole army setting up liberators in this position right here. As you can see, it looks like Smartnt is going to move, try to engage this army of battlecruisers and liberators and Thors and tanks, just this mech army from demiro. We'll see what happens here. Looks like there's no transfuses going down, Yamato's going down. The army supply is... oh, he's making a lot of corruptors. He has quite a corruptor army, so looks like all these battlecruisers are going to go down with these corruptors. However, they only shoot air units, so these Thors are just and Marines are just having a time. Viking still doing work too. So it looks like demiro is going to need to use his huge bank to... I'm sorry. He's not going to need to use his huge bank. I was looking at the bank of the demiro and I thought it was the bank of Smartnt. Smartnt is still now leading, decides to just make a bunch of lynx and roaches ground army to combat this Terran army. Terran just has a huge bank. He's making 2 battlecruisers at home, 2 Thors, 2 widow mines. Just really doesn't have enough production. Just all the production. Not building any bio units whatsoever, despite having 6 barracks. And the Zerg is going to overwhelm the Terran army. I can't believe it. And right now, for the first time in the game, Smartnt is at quite the supply lead. And now you can see some of the barracks being used. He's making some Marines out of the barracks. Finally spending that bank of 3,000 mils. Still quite, they're both quite... oh, he's getting some Thors trapped out here by the lynx though, and the roaches. I don't know. Let's see if these widow mines can get some good hits. Okay, Smartnt baits out the widow mines, that's good. Might have a very difficult time pushing into the planetaries though. We'll see what happens as he moves forward with his roach corruptor ravager army. He just decides to walk past the planetaries. And then after he's finally up the ramp and out of the range of the planetaries, he decides to retreat. He's lost too much. He just lost a lot of army supply just walking back and forth, not really attacking or doing anything. If he came around from this way, maybe there's still 2 planetaries here, but he could have walked through here maybe if demiro was out of position and not have taken any damage from the planetaries. Meanwhile, demiro did send another battlecruiser to the 3rd base, most left middle base of Smartnt, but it does get taken out by corruptors. Demiro just mining a crazy amount of, almost triple the mining rate of minerals, well, double now mining rate of minerals of Smartnt, and mining 1,000 gas. Smartnt is just really not mining any gas at all. A lot of his drones got taken out, I'm assuming, by that battlecruiser that I missed that jumped across to this base. He probably took out every single drone. Not quite sure, because he was at 66 workers. Now he's Terran moving on to creep into position, looking to deny some of this creep, throw some widow mines. Pushing forward across the middle of the map as this creep is spreading quite far, almost to the Terran player's base. see what Smartnt's he decides to react to this huge bank for demiro right now. Just insane. 4,000 minerals, 2,500 gas. These Widow Mine connections. Oh, they do some friendly fire on the Marines there. The Zerglings, Roaches, Ravagers. Just get us around on the Thors. Looks like these Thors might go down. Oh, Seeker missiles. Seeker missiles on the Roaches and Ravagers. Looks like they might take out the Thors. The Corruptor's just not doing anything to these Medivacs and Ravens. I'm not really sure as to why he wasn't hitting the Medivacs and Ravens with the Corruptors. Quite the double the army supply for demiro, 80 to 40, and you can see in the production tab finally 3 bio attack upgrade, 3 ship upgrade. Just the upgrades are a superior advantage for the Terran player. He is starting to spend some of his bank. He had 4,000 minerals, now he has 2,000. Still has a 3k gas bank, and Smartnt just really just does not have a bank, so every unit matters for him, just way more than the Terran player. demiro taking on with this hatchery here. Looks like Smartnt is going to engage. He's going to take out some of the battle cruisers, and maybe take out the Ravens with the Corruptors. The Zerglings just cleaning up and Roaches cleaning up everything on the ground. demiro not retreating. He's going to lose a lot of his medevacs as well. Not a good Widow Mine connection area. Zerglings just running around. I think they have adrenal glands. I'm not sure. Maybe. Getting us around on these Planetary, and the Widow Mine just takes out all the Zerglings. Although he did get us around on the Marines. He does have Hive. I believe he has adrenal glands. I'm not 100%. Still a pretty decent supply lead for the Terran player, and a lot of that is Army. 95 Army supply, 38. Quite a big advantage. The creep is spreading up to the top left side of the map, where demiro has established. He has just so many bases established with, as planetaries. It's just going to be very difficult to break that as Smartnt. However, he is morphing 5 Broodlords, 6 Broodlords. So he is morphing in 6 Broodlords. We'll see if those Broodlords are going to be enough to win the game with the drastically underwhelming army supply that he has, 50 to 121. See if those Broodlords are enough. Almost maxed out Terran player demiro to 125 of Smartnt. Looks like a fight is about to break out. demiro just cleaning up some creep with the scan because he has lost his Ravens. And it looks like these Thors are going to start hitting the Broodlords. Broodlords turn around a little bit, fire a shot or two at the Thors, and the Thors, demiro decides to retreat his Thors rather than chase down the Broodlords. Looks like he maybe does not want to get those surrounded by Zerglings when the front Widow Mines are on cooldown. He's just happy with the hatchery pick off. He's going to go after these rocks here. Decides that could be a potential retreat path, as he just wants to destroy all these rocks, as most of his army is on the ground and most of Smartnt's army is in the air. In the production tab, we have 66 Zerglings, 7 more Corruptors, so it looks like this is just mostly Ling Corruptor Broodlord with a couple of Roaches mixed in there. And all of these Zerglings are hatching. It looks like you see what's about to occur. Oh my goodness, that is just so many Zerglings, and the Broodlords are firing away as well. Just massive amounts of Zerglings. Only 2/2 Zerglings though against 3/3 everything else. So it looks like all those Zerglings will be cleaned up. The Broodlords, however, there's nothing that shoots up besides these 2 Thors, and it looks like demiro does not want to engage those Broodlords with those 2 Thors, and mostly Marauder. Ooh, nice Widow Mine shots to weaken these Broodlords of Smartnt's. Huge gas bank for demiro again. Just mining so efficiently. He is actually a lower worker count, so actually not mining efficiently from a lot of these established bases. Needs to move some of his SCVs around to mine efficiently. Also maybe think about creating some more, though he is maxed out though. So he is maxed out. He does have a slightly bigger army. Smartnt decides to push up to the left side of the map where demiro does have 2 planetaries, going to easily fend off these roaches, and it looks like he is going to decide to pull back, just kill a couple missile turrets, lose a fair amount of roaches, and then just decide, oh, I can't take out those planetaries up there, so I'm just going to pull away. Every unit, though, matters. As we move further and further in the late game, and it looks like there is a huge push coming out from demiro to the third of Smartnt down here, and he's gonna. It looks like he's gonna snipe this hatchery. Smartnt not reacting, just not deciding he doesn't want to take this fight, just gonna lose the hatchery. Again, he has to be careful though not to move into these widow mines. He still just doesn't have any observers. I'm sure, yeah, these widow mines still. Oh, I guess maybe he does. Oh, he does have an observer with the army. I'm sorry. Apologize for that. I thought he had no observers. He does have an observer, right? Overseer. demiro moving through this choke point, deciding to retreat as he decides it's not the fight he wants to take. The Broodlord's just pushing the army, the Terran army back, even though he does massively out. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. It is a mass Broodlord army from Smartnt. And we'll see how demiro decides he wants to deal with this. Just mass Broodlords. There's only 4 Thors here. Mostly just a lot of Marauders. I mean, he does have some Marines mixed in here, maybe about 20 Marines, but a lot of Marauders. But 20 Marines, 20 Marauders, 4 Thors. Is that the whole army? It's just a lot of these tanks sitting at home, taking up supply. He needs to unsiege all these tanks at home, I think, and just start moving around with his army if he hopes to combat just this literally mass Broodlord army from Smartnt. If he's going to take the game in any way, that has to be how, because I mean, just look at the bank of demiro. 5k minerals, 6k gas, just mining from. They just have almost every base established. This is the only base that hasn't been taken. It looks like Smartnt's going to take it, but it's just the Zerg player just working with far less bases. These Widowmine shots are going to take care of the Broodlings, but there's just so many Broodlords. Oh my goodness, there's just so many Broodlords. They're so slow, though. I'm really curious about how this game is going to go from here, because it's already been a 32-minute game. Just both players just playing extremely passively, it feels like. And I mean, with the Terran being the aggressor most of the game, it's just insane bank from the Terran player. 7,000 of each resource. It's absolutely insane. It's just, you should just start building a massive production buildings and hopefully have everything hotkeyed, so that way when he does finally lose his army, if he does, then the Zerg player is moving across the map, and so is the Terran player. 6 Vipers just hatched for Smartnt, so see what he decides to do with those Vipers. Looks like these Broodlords, he's gonna go for a base trade, but there's just, it looks like with these Broodlords, instead of demiro picking off that hatchery again, and take off this hatchery as well. We'll see what demiro decides to do with his army, as he now knows that there's just this like 20-30 Broodlord force of Smartnt at his side of the map, knocking on his front door. Just insane mass amount of Broodlords. Looks like demiro is going to go for this base trade. He says, I can't fight those Broodlords. I don't want to do that. He's not even maxed out anymore, though. Now his tanks are just going to start getting... Everything's just going to completely get demolished by these Broodlords. A couple of Corruptors and Vipers. And it looks like Smartnt is going to retreat with everything. Decides that I can't go for the base trade. I have to defend because I am just losing way too much. He has just a million larvae at both his main and his natural, however. So if he ever accumulates enough resources to build whatever he wants, he certainly has the larvae to do it. These Broodlords are in position. They're a pretty good position to just start working away here at the army of demiro. Can't really be attacked right now. And the blinding clouds come down. Very nice. Very nice. It looks like he is going to clean up the army of the Terran player. Reinforcements coming across the map in the form of Vikings. Going to start working away at these Vipers right now. He's just target firing. Okay, the Corruptor's doing work now. The Corruptor's far superior Corruptor number. Taking out these Vikings. Looks like Smartnt is going to need to make some more Corruptors, assuming demiro continues with this Viking production, which it looks like that is going to be the choice. He's just going to keep making Vikings, and he certainly has the bank to do so. Had just insane bank from the Terran player, just absolutely insane. Mules are a fair unit. Looks like the Overseer is going to get picked off by the Marines here, as he does overextend a little bit too far. There's just so many Broodlords, and there's just a lot of Vikings here, way too many Vikings, and all these Broodlords, I think, are going to go down to these Vikings. There's just no way. I don't see how Smartnt could defend these Broodlords. 9 Corruptors in production, but that's just, I don't think that's going to be enough to fend off these just Broodlords, just massively out of position. The remax from demiro, Terran player. Yeah, it seems he has a cry face. A 36-minute game. This is absolutely bonkers. Such a long game. Crazy banks. You see Terran player trying to get Smartnt to leave. demiro trying to get the concession, saying GG question mark. Smartnt not giving up quite yet though. But it is going to be over. There's no way you could possibly come back to this. Although I did say that before, and that mass Broodlord army did look extremely scary. I actually was a believer for a little bit there. I honestly did think Smartnt was going to come back in this game, but at this point there's absolutely no way, right? Like, you have to tap out. There's just no way, right? There's absolutely no way. 11 workers to 52. I mean, not that the income matters at all anymore for the Terran player. So such a huge bank that he doesn't even need to mine pretty much for the rest of the game, but you know, the Zerg player just doesn't even have close to that bank, and he only has 51 supply, 32 of the army, so demiro has 3 times the army supply of the Zerg player, and just he has units to. Well, what if these banelings hit though, right? If all these banelings hit all the Vikings and all the Marines somehow magically, that'd be pretty funny, right? Ooh. Okay, so get some decent hits, I guess. I don't know. No, still a massive amount of Marines left. Alright, finally taps out GG. Where's the F10? F10 plus N? Well, thanks for tuning into this insanely long 40-minute game. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. What the fucking fuck?